Hi, this is Dr. Wendy from My Menopause Transformation. Thanks for joining me in the MyMT community. I really appreciate it. I just thought I'd touch base with you. There's many of you who have just become part of my community on the newsletter or on the Facebook group, and I just wanted to first of all say hi and thank you for your interest in My Menopause Transformation, and just give you a little bit of background about why I set it up. And I don't know about you, but I certainly found that as I came into perimenopause and menopause, my symptoms were overwhelming me. In fact, I really didn't have a lot of idea what was going on at the time. I was exercising regularly and eating rather healthily, and certainly had no idea that the impact of a changing hormonal environment as we go into this next life stage might be so powerful on how we're feeling. And at the time that I was coming into perimenopause and menopause, and of course you're in perimenopause from any time from your mid-40s on, and you're in post-menopause when your periods have stopped for a year or more, and certainly I had no idea what was going on. My wasn't sleeping, my joints were sore, was feeling anxious, and certainly haven't had a lot of anxiety over my lifetime, and certainly the hot flushes were all over the place, as were the night sweats. So there were a lot of different feelings and emotions that were impacting on me at the time. And of course, like many women, I was buying lots of supplements and trying to find the golden thing that really helped me. And it wasn't until I started to do my doctoral studies in women's healthy aging that I actually began to understand what was going on. And as I talked to women around New Zealand and started to understand that many of us were not responding to the exercise that we'd been doing over many years, I became very curious about our aging and our healthy aging. And one of the things that I began to understand was that when you think about what menopause is, it's the biological gateway to the next stage of our life in terms of our aging. And so when you look at it in that context, then it's the opposite of puberty. And when you understand that it takes a number of years to go through menopause, and you understand that it's actually part of a woman's natural life cycle, then I began to, because I was doing my doctoral studies into healthy aging, I began to think about the fact that there's been so many things that have impacted on our lives in our generation, women in their 50s, and compared to our mother's generation. And I was also in the research really trying to explore what healthy aging was. And certainly, I've had an interest in that, not only from an academic perspective, but because I was now, didn't feel very healthy at the time that I was coming through menopause. I'd put on around 15 kilos of weight, my cholesterol was going up, my blood pressure was up, and it had never been high before. Certainly, I wasn't able to enjoy the exercise that I'd done in the past because my joints and muscles were sore, and of course, lying awake half the night, you just get so desperate and despondent, and your energy levels go out the door. So I became very concerned and worried that I was heading into the trajectory that a lot of the research showed around our parents' generation, which is a lot more inflammation, a lot more heart disease, certainly a lot of the different inflammatory diseases of older age. But most importantly, I really felt that I wouldn't be able to live the life that I wanted to in terms of recreation and exercise and skiing and doing all the things that I've enjoyed and my family's enjoyed for, for years, for decades. So I became very concerned about what was actually going on in my body. And the more that I went to healthy aging conferences, the more I began to understand that thankfully research has moved on, and the research has moved on around how we turn back the clock on inflammation that's been accumulating for a number of years. And I really did feel that with my aching joints and my muscles and not sleeping, and certainly the weight gain, which is another form of inflammation, and certainly the feelings of anxiety and increased heart rate and blood pressure, that there just was something that my body wasn't coping with. So I decided to untangle menopause, and it's part of our, as I say, when I started to look at the research from around the world, and I found out that there were different cultures around the world that didn't have the symptoms that we typically experience, then it made me understand that a lot of our changing hormones as we go through menopause are clashing with the way that we live our life, our modern lifestyles. And certainly as women in our late 40s and early 50s, we've got a lot going on, and we've got busy, work environments, we're busy in the home, we're busy outside the home, we're trying to look after our body and our physical side of things, and certainly we're trying to look after everyone else as well. So there's lots going on in our lives. And when I put menopause in the context of our busy lives and the fact that there are a lot of changes, physical changes that go on in our body as we start to move through menopause and lose estrogen and progesterone, I discovered, from my physiology background, that there's a lot of changes that go on around our joints, our muscles, our heart, our liver, our gut health, and of course our sleep hormones. So one of the things that happens as we start to go through natural menopause, and when our reproductive hormones are starting to decline, is that other hormones, which are chemical messengers, other hormones around our body are trying to kick in and help us to adjust to this time of life. But if we're not allowing our body to adapt, and we're not allowing our body to move through menopause, just like our girls as they move through puberty, or as we move through puberty, if we're not allowing our body to adjust, then our thyroid hormones, our stress hormones, and our sleep hormones get out of balance too. And that's one of the main issues that impact on our symptoms. We feel, hot and bothered, we can't sleep, and we certainly feel a bit more anxious. Our heart rate goes up. Some of you will be having palpitations, and many of you who are doing a lot of exercise may have sore joints and muscles, and some of you who are putting on lots of weight, you might have sore joints and muscles as well. So there's lots of changes physically in the body that happen as we go through menopause, and so what I wanted to do, certainly for myself, especially in the early days, was to really look at the women's healthy aging research and use the scientific evidence that I could find to turn back the clock, so to allow me to go through menopause in a way that was really helping my body and keeping it healthy. So what I did was to first and foremost turn around my sleep, turn around my circadian rhythm, and then I researched how to turn around my energy, and part of that was actually focusing on liver health. Our liver and our kidneys change as we come through menopause, and if our liver can't do the job that it's intended to do, which is help to get rid of toxins and waste, but also help to absorb many nutrients, particularly the B vitamins vitamins, which are our energy vitamins, if our liver can't do its job, then we're not getting those beautiful nutrients from our diet. The other thing, talking about diet, is that I as a university lecturer in nutrition at the time, was really confused about all of the different messages that involved our diet. And one of the things that I really kind of put into perspective was that a lot of research hasn't gone on for our generation. A lot of the research around exercise and nutrition has either been for the older population, the 65 plus population, or it's been for athletes and younger people, particularly a lot of the messages that come out in the fitness industry. And certainly as we come through menopause, then we need to be on a really nutritious diet. And I've followed the Mediterranean diet research, and what I've done is I've focused on menopause and the nutrients we need in menopause. So I've got a really cool food guide that is not based on any crazy dieting. It's not based on calorie counting or high fat or high protein, and it's really focused on menopause and the fact that we need lots of energy, we need specific nutrients to help our bone health, our cardiac health, and our energy levels, and certainly we need to turn around the inflammation. So I've got lots of food information in the program as well. So I have designed, from my women's healthy aging research, I've designed 2 programs that enable women to thrive through menopause, or if you're already through and you've been really struggling with symptoms still in post-menopause, then the programs allow you to kind of turn back the clock. So those programs are on the website. The website's My Menopause Transformation. Go and have a little look. I've got 2 programs that are focused on the different body types of women. So if you're thinner and leaner, have a look at the Circuit Breaker program. And the Circuit Breaker program is focused on symptom reduction using lifestyle solutions, and I've called it Circuit Breaker as a way to kind of integrate the fact that what we want to do is break the circuit of our symptoms. Then I've got another program which is a separate program, so it's for the women who are putting on lots of belly fat, and those women, those of you who are doing that as I did myself, I put on 15 kilos of weight, and I was really struggling with my cholesterol, my blood pressure, and my sore joints and muscles. So it's called Transform Me, and it's on their website. So if you are troubled with weight gain and you're really feeling that you're not on top of your weight gain in menopause, then have a look at the Transform Me program, because I would love you to do that. And what happens with both those programs is that there's actually not a lot of exercise in them, and I do that on purpose, because if you aren't sleeping and if you've got a lot of inflammation, then you just need to be doing gentle exercise and strengthening. You've got to turn around your sleep and your cardiac health and your liver health and your sore joints and muscles first before you get back doing lots of exercise. So it's a bit, I was actually doing too much high intensity activity for my hormones in menopause, and I wasn't sleeping. And what I began to understand as I've, taught for years exercise and sports science, was that I was heading into the same situation that young female athletes head into when they are doing too much activity as well. And there's a lot more research around hormonal health for young female athletes now, which is fantastic. But I started to understand that too much exercise when you're not sleeping actually can make your symptoms worse and certainly make you overheat. So I don't have a lot of exercise in the programs. They're about symptom reduction, they're about weight loss, and then I have another program further down the track called Rebuild My Fitness, for those women who want to get active again and get there, really understand how to engage age with exercise and activity, because it's a time of life where we actually get out of exercise because A, we're too exhausted, and B, we're too busy. So it's really important though that as we go into post-menopause that we're starting to use exercise as a way to stay healthy, and certainly with our nutrition as well. So I'd love you to jump on the My Menopause Transformation website, have a look at those programs. Over the 12 weeks, there's 7 modules in those, and you go into your own customer area, and it's a learning area, and I've made videos and webinars for you. And what I do is every couple of weeks, so you don't get it all at once, because I know that that's all too much and a bit overwhelming. So every couple of weeks I open up access for you to the next module or video, and in that, in your little customer area, you listen to my module, and I tell you why your symptoms are happening. So the first one is sleep all night, and it's for the weight loss girls, it's about estrogen dominance, and for the circuit breaker girls, you've got a hot flush module in there as well. So those are the first ones that are that you listen to. And what I want you to do is listen to those modules and then go away and put what I tell you into action. So I've got some downloads, some PDF downloads, so you can print those out and take them with you as your reminder as to what to do. I've got food guide in there, and I've got recipes, nutrition information, everything that you need to start to turn around your symptoms. And for those of you who are on the Transform Me program, the weight loss program, your goal is to stop gaining weight, because we need to stop gaining and before we can start losing. So lots and lots of information in there. So jump on the website, do the symptoms quiz, and get hold of me if you need to. My email's on there, and if you've got questions, and if you're really struggling with your symptoms in menopause and you want specifically, scientifically evidenced lifestyle solutions to help you transition or to help you turn back the clock if you're in post-menopause, then check it out, read a bit about me, and listen to my videos, and hopefully I'll be able to get you into the program, and you can do it anywhere you are in the world, and I'd love to support you as you come through menopause. Thanks everyone.